Hello, I'm Sebastian. Welcome to 9 Trees podcast. Today, I will summarize and review the book. Fundamentals of Building Construction, Materials and Methods by Edward Allen is a widely used guide to how buildings are put together, from first principles to job site realities. It connects building design intent with the physical materials, assemblies, and sequences that turn drawings into durable structures. The book is known for explaining not only what components are used, but why they are selected, how they interact, and what can go wrong when details are ignored. Readers are introduced to core construction materials such as wood, steel, concrete, masonry, glass, and finishes, along with the methods used to form foundations, frame structural systems, build envelopes, and complete interiors. Just as important, it frames construction as an integrated process shaped by moisture, heat flow, structural forces, tolerances, codes, labor skills, and cost. For students and practitioners, it serves as a practical bridge between architecture, engineering, and construction management, helping readers think clearly about assemblies, detailing, and buildability. I will give you key takeaways from this book. Firstly, materials as systems, properties, selection, and compatibility. A central theme is learning to see materials not as isolated choices, but as parts of a larger system. The book emphasizes basic properties that govern performance, including strength and tension and compression, stiffness, dimensional stability, combustibility, corrosion risk, and long-term durability. It also highlights how moisture and temperature drive movement and deterioration, which is why compatibility matters when different materials meet. For example, metals can corrode when paired improperly, wood can shrink and swell across grain, and masonry and concrete behave differently under moisture and thermal cycles. The reader is guided to think in terms of service conditions, interior versus exterior, wet versus dry exposure, and high wear versus low wear locations. Material selection is presented as a balancing act among performance, availability, craft familiarity, sustainability considerations, and cost. The overall lesson is that good construction begins with informed choices that anticipate real site conditions and predictable material behavior, reducing failures such as cracking, staining, rot, corrosion, and premature finish breakdown. Secondly, foundations and ground interface, supporting loads and managing water. The book treats the foundation as the most consequential hidden assembly in a building because it must safely transfer loads to soil while controlling water. Readers encounter the logic behind spread footings, foundation walls, slabs on grade, and deeper solutions when soil conditions or loads demand them. Beyond structural bearing, the discussion stresses that groundwater, surface runoff, and capillary rise are constant threats to interiors and finishes. Proper grading, drainage, damp proofing or waterproofing, vapor control, and insulation at the perimeter are presented as coordinated measures rather than optional upgrades. The topic also connects foundations to constructability, explaining how excavation, formwork, reinforcement placement, and curing practices influence performance. Common field issues such as differential settlement, cracking, and moisture intrusion are treated as predictable outcomes of incomplete information, poor detailing, or rushed execution. The reader comes away with a practical framework, understand the site, define load paths to the earth, and design the foundation and water management strategy as one integrated solution. Thirdly, structural frameworks, load paths in wood, steel, concrete, and masonry. Another important topic is how structural systems create clear load paths from roof and floors down to the foundation. The book explains the basic roles of beams, joists, columns, bearing walls, and slabs, then compares common framing approaches in wood, steel, and concrete, as well as structural masonry. Readers learn how gravity loads and lateral loads from wind and seismic forces shape member sizing, bracing strategies, connections, and the overall layout. A recurring message is that connections are as critical as members, bolts, welds, nails, screws, anchors, and reinforcement detailing determine whether the intended load path actually works in the field. The topic also introduces construction sequencing realities, such as temporary bracing, shoring, tolerances, and coordination with mechanical openings and facade supports. By presenting framing as an interaction of design intent, fabrication, and erection methods, the book helps readers predict where conflicts and failures occur, such as misaligned inserts, deflection that damages finishes, or insufficient lateral resistance. Fourthly, building enclosure, controlling heat, air, and moisture. The building envelope is framed as the primary defense against the elements and a major driver of comfort, energy use, and durability. The book explains how roofs, walls, windows, and interfaces must manage 4 key control layers: water shedding, air control, thermal insulation, and vapor management. Rather than treating these as abstract concepts, it shows how assemblies achieve them through membranes, flashings, sealants, drainage planes, insulation strategies, and careful detailing at penetrations and transitions. Readers are encouraged to focus on continuity, because most leaks and condensation problems occur at edges, parapets, window heads and sills, balconies, and changes in material. The topic also links enclosure design to constructability, acknowledging that excellent details must still be buildable with real tolerances and workmanship. Understanding the enclosure as a system helps prevent common failures such as mold, rot, corrosion, spalling, blistering roofs, and uncomfortable drafts. It also supports better long-term maintenance planning and more reliable performance across climates. Lastly, interiors, finishes, and job site execution. From details to buildability, the book highlights that successful construction depends on translating details into sequences that crews can execute. Interior partitions, ceilings, floor systems, and finishes are discussed not only for appearance, but for fire resistance, acoustics, durability, and service integration. Readers see how choices like gypsum board assemblies, suspended ceilings, flooring types, and finish coatings connect to substrate preparation, movement control, and moisture conditions. The topic also emphasizes coordination with building services, because ducts, piping, wiring, sprinklers, and equipment supports impose real space, access, and structural requirements. Good detailing is presented as a communication tool that clarifies tolerances, backing, fasteners, and edge conditions, reducing change orders and defects. Practical job site considerations such as safety, staging, quality control, and inspection checkpoints reinforce that materials and methods live within a process. The result is a construction mindset that values clear drawings, realistic sequences, and quality-focused decisions, producing interiors that perform well, age gracefully, and are easier to repair or renovate. In conclusion, this book fits architecture students, construction management students, interior architecture learners, and early career professionals who need a reliable map of how building assemblies work. It is also useful for engineers, inspectors, and owners' representatives who want a clearer understanding of what they see on site and why certain details matter. The main benefit is practical literacy. Readers learn to think in systems, trace load paths, and anticipate the consequences of moisture, heat, movement, and workmanship. That perspective improves real decisions, from selecting materials and coordinating details to spotting risks before they become leaks, cracks, and costly rework. Compared with many construction overviews that either stay too theoretical or read like product catalogs, this title is valued for connecting principles to methods and buildability, helping readers translate design intent into durable assemblies. It supports better conversations across disciplines because it uses construction logic that designers, contractors, and consultants can share. For anyone aiming to design, document, or manage buildings more confidently, it is worth buying as a long-term reference that keeps paying back during studio, fieldwork, and professional practice. If you would like to support Edward Allen, you can buy the book through the Amazon link I've provided in the podcast description. After reading the book, please let me know what you think and share your thoughts. See you around.